All right, I wanted to talk about virtual auditions. I ended up having a little extra time. The first person that's supposed to show up today, it's about 15 after. I don't think they're showing up. So I wanted to talk about it because, and that's good because it gives me an opportunity to do this video, which I think might be helpful to some people. And I'm just going to minimize myself so you can kind of see what I did. So first things first, what I like to do is I set out my days that I'm available to interview people. Ooh, and I can eat Cold Ease. It's a good little medicine if you're having any issues with a cold. But which is another good reason to have virtual auditions if you're doing a project. But the virtual auditions, it helps you from having to go meet in person, obviously, but holding it at a certain location, you're sitting there, you have to find the location, do all that type of stuff. This thing, you can just set up. What a good idea to eat that right now with this mic right here. But the virtual auditions, you could just set it up from your home, or you could be mobile. You could use your phone. So brings me to my other point. You don't have to do it the way I do. I know I have my camera set up, but I'm a videographer, among other things. So I'm going to use my arsenal, so I have my camera. For other people that are videographers, I have my camera with the cam link. Cam link plugs into the computer because I use a Sony camera, so I can't just plug it straight in. If you have a Canon and maybe some other cameras, you might just be able to plug straight into your computer and get your feed. Then have my USB cable going into my camera. My laptop, I'm using a microphone, external microphone. You could have one that just goes straight into your computer like a USB, but my microphone is feeding into the Rodecaster. I love the sound out of the Rodecaster. It's so good. It's just so good. Because I've had other mixers where it's like you get a buzzing noise and different things like that. Only time I've gotten a buzzing noise out of the Rodecaster was when I was using my little generator, little power bank. I was using that to power it. And I think it's because there's no grounding on that. Excuse me. But yeah, so it's a lot more convenient. People don't have to drive and all that. And especially with my project or projects, a lot of times I'm doing non-paying roles or very low paying. You might get $10 or 15 or something. But the main thing is getting the credits and the food. And with that, then they don't have an expense of having to drive or anything like that. So if I'm doing a role like that, I like to cut down the time. So I'm just checking back and forth, making sure that this person hasn't come in. Then it just cuts down the time that they have to spend, and I'm just doing a quick 30-minute thing. So I'm gonna share my screen now so you guys can see. All right, so here, I like Google Meet. I'm a Google person. I don't really do the Apple thing. I should say I'm a PC, Android person. So Windows, I like that. So on Google Meet, you can just set up an interview or set up an event. Go up here, go to your Google. Hit the dots. I think that's where the dots were. Yep. Then you'll go to calendar. You can just go to create event. Let's see. Yeah, you type your stuff, and then you'll say add Google Meet video conferencing, and you can do it through your computer. But I was doing this through my phone because, when I'm out and about, I don't have my computer. So that's how I set up a lot of the interviews. And it's just once somebody contacted me, then I would put them on the list. So then when somebody else contacted me, I'm like, well, hey, I got 12 to 12:30 open, or I got 1 to 4, or 1 to 3:30 open for 30-minute slots. Tell me which one you want to do. So very convenient way to do that. And then I make one list of auditions. So this one has 4 different roles on it. Different types of roles too. So you can see homeless person, prostitute, therapist, and that's because of the nature of this project, addict. So it's all about like different people in the community, different types of people. You're showing all types of people. And then I bold their lines, and then I'll read for the other parts, and then I can just, the main thing with me with directing is, can you take direction? How many different characters can you do? Sometimes people will read it one way. They're like, hello, my name is Johnny. Nice to meet you. And it's like, all right, can you try it, take it down a little bit, not so poppy, and do it more serious? And then be like, yeah, sure. Hello, my name is Johnny. Nice to meet you. And it's like, okay, can you do it in a goofy way? Hello, my name is Johnny. Nice to meet you. It's like you just did it the same way 3 times, you know? So I like to see if people can take direction and implement it and try something a little bit different, given the nature. So like even here, I don't have to do, you know, a bunch of lines. But let's say it was Chelsea. Everybody has a plan until they get kicked out the house. Okay, can you do it a little bit more upset? Everybody has a plan until they get kicked out the house. So it's like I have some acting experience too. So it's like, can you switch it up? Because that's the main thing. I know what it's looking like as we're going. And so it's like, if I say, can you switch this, and you can't, then that's where I can say, okay, this person's probably not going to be too good to work with on this project. Or I know maybe they might be better as an extra, or they might be better in a role that requires they don't have as big of a range. So maybe they're able to do one type of thing, and maybe they'll be able to do that character that one way, you know, and they have a unique look or something like that. So that kind of is how I do it with as far as casting. And that's good for actors to know too. You know, being able to take direction is always a good thing. So and I've been with an agency for a minute. I got with my agency, talent agency, 2013, I believe. And so I was doing different things with them. And then I took some acting classes and workshops. So not going to say I'm a Hollywood trained, blah, 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 but I do know some stuff. And then also being on the director side, I just know what works well. When you're doing your Google, if you get one of these Google Meets as well on the actor side, you should accept it. That way it's on your calendar too. So like with this situation today, this is the first one so far, 9 a.m. Looks like it's a no call, no show. And then she might be like, oh, well, the thing about it is some people do no call, no show. So then it's up to you to decide, well, is this person going to be reliable and are they worth working with? Because even if it's a free project, I think some people forget I'm also using my time and skills, and, you know, because I got to film, shoot, schedule, audition, do casting. And some people are like, well, it's your project. Yeah, but it benefits more than just me. So I'm also, as a DP, director, and everything like that, I'm also working for free for the project. Well, really not for free, because I'm paying for food and paying, you know, I might pay a little amount, so then put it into festivals, and then I got to put in time, more time to edit, more time shooting, more time using equipment. There's like a lot that goes into it. All right, so virtual auditions on the actual day. Oh, I wanted to talk about this too. So I have some notes here talking about the role. Again, this project is going to be very low budget as far as paying people out. They'll get food, drink. I really minimize the time. Like you might have to be on set for one day for 3 hours or something like that. It's really not going to be anything time intensive. So I like to see the people that would do it for, they're not really worried about the money. They would more so do it like for free or something. Because then it allows me more of an availability to say, let's say I wanted to pay out people, or I was able to get some money on the back end or somehow or whatever. Then at that point I could say, oh, I'm going to pay everybody $25 or something. Then it's not like, oh, I have to pay everybody $25. If it's a cast of 30 people, that can really add up. $25 times 30 people. So that's that. Or let's say I win a festival thing, or let's say I put it on Tubi or something and I get 10 grand off of it. Then I could say, let me pay out everybody afterwards, whatever that amount may be. Or if it's not successful, then nobody gets paid, including me. Are you in the area? That's a question I like to ask, because like this situation, let's say that they're supposed to be on set and they can't make it. They're like, well, I'm coming from Florida. I'm driving up right now. Number one, with it being a non-paying role, then it might not be worth it. Number two, there's the scheduling thing. If there's any type of delay in traffic and all that, I'd rather have people that are local in certain roles. If you're an extra, then it's like, yeah, you might be able to come up if you just want to be in the film, be in the project. Lead character information. So those roles I normally do pay, because they might take more time. It might be more time intensive. And so let's say they're going to be on set for 3 different days, 3 hours a day. Then it's like, yeah, let me pay them like $100 each or something like that. And that might be just a few roles. Then that kind of guarantees that, okay, they'll be able to make it in. Or it's more of a guarantee or whatever. It makes it more worth their time. And there'll be more of an important role as well. And then the day of the virtual auditions, what I recommend, get everything that you need. I'm dressed in like a little bit of it's like business casual-ish, I should say. And I feel like it just brings a little bit, you even feel a little bit more professional, than wearing a t-shirt, I think, or a hoodie or something. So do that. Make sure your setup is right. Make sure you've already tested a Google Meet. You can just go on your thing, go up, let's say here, and do this, and go to Google Meet, and then do a little test run. Test your audio, do a test recording. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, so my mixer plugs into my computer. Then I'm using OBS Studio. It's really a lot of information to get into as far as that, but you can look up OBS Studio and see how to use that. If you're interested in doing any recording, I record all the auditions that way I can look back and review them. And let's see. Yeah, make sure you get any snacks and everything. You can see here I'm supposed to, from 10 to 12, I'm going to be doing them back to back. So I might not be able to get up and go grab water or something to eat on between 12 and 12:30. I have a little break. But yeah, you might not be able to run to the store, or you might not be able to do certain things. So you might want to just have some snacks around or some drinks. That way you can feed yourself and be able to drink something without having to drive somewhere. And be available, so set time aside. Some people, they'll want to get on a call and then they're going through the store or they're moving around and all that. And you being the director, I feel like that's kind of distracting and you're not really giving your attention. It can be noisy. And as the actor as well, you want to have I think it goes, you should already know, but let's say you don't have any acting experience or you've never taken classes and things. You should have an area that's quiet and, don't go to Starbucks and you're reading lines at Starbucks. Go to like a private room. You can go to a library, go to a room somewhere else, just somewhere that's away from people and noise and where you can focus and there's nothing too distracting and where you feel comfortable as well. You can even do it in your car. Your car is probably better. If you do it in your car, if you had nowhere else, then in your car is probably better than anything. And like I said, you don't have to do the whole setup like I have it. You can just do it on your phone. If you want to, you can screen record each of the meetings and just make sure you hit those questions that you have, any important information that you might have in the beginning, and note that. All right, I think that's probably good enough. That's probably good enough for what I was intending to do. So hopefully that's helpful to some people.